Hi guys. So today I have decided that I'm going to start a little storybook reading series or playlist. So basically I want to read to you all this book that I am pretty passionate about learning, and it's entitled The Lost Art of Reading Nature Signs. So the idea is it's written by Tristan Gooley, and essentially he is someone who has learned how to navigate in terms of, direction outside through observing nature. So he goes on these adventures where he doesn't bring any compass, any map, so nothing that would help you know where you are geographically. And then he has a goal in mind, and he tries to get to that goal, the spot, just using nature and observing plants, the weather, soil, the ground, everything, animal tracks, and it's all in this beautiful book right here. So I'm gonna start today a little introduction with a note to the readers. I have spent more than 2 decades walking the woods and towns and countryside and coast near my home and throughout the rest of England, where I'm from. On my journeys, I've collected notes on hundreds of nature's signs hidden in plain sight. The sun, moon, stars, sky, plants, and animals that, upon closer inspection, often reveal clues to a deeper understanding of the environment. A good deal of the things I've seen can be found in many places in the US, but inevitably, I'll refer to some plants and animals that the reader may not be familiar with. Where possible, I'll take my glasses off. Where possible, I've enlisted the help of Mark Williams, an ethnobotanist from North Carolina, and someone who, like me, spends much of his time carefully observing nature, to incorporate signs and species that American readers may find in their own backyards. I should also mention here that some of my very favorite outdoor clues are the ones I've learned far from home. I've traveled to places as remote as Borneo and the Sahara, where I've walked among the Dayak and Tuareg to learn their ancient customs for reading the land. I come away with a better understanding of concepts and principles that will change the way I look at the land back home, and with a deeper sense of how the world around us offers up her secrets to those who take the time to look, in ways I never imagined. Lastly, a note on species identification. To get the most out of this book, I recommend readers carry one or more field guides as they venture outdoors, as I do on most of my walks. The internet is proving a wonderful resource in helping with identification too. There are countless specialist websites that will help you as you build your collection of clues, and I'm always adding new images and materials to my own website, naturalnavigator.com. Introduction. 10 years ago, I was walking along a beach in Brittany, relaxing after a tiring journey. A young couple emerged from what appeared to be an upmarket hotel and crossed in front of me. From their choice of swimwear, their hairstyles, and their body language, they gave the impression of being continental Europeans. The few words of conversation I overheard confirmed them as Italians. The couple paused as the first wave crashed over their feet. And then they did what a lot of people do at this point. They subconsciously checked their valuable items of jewelry. Both their right hands moved to the fingers on their left hands, and it was this that drew my attention to the wedding rings. It did not take a huge leap from there, given their age and the luxuriousness of the hotel, to surmise that they were probably on their honeymoon. I had built a limited picture of this couple in less than 10 seconds, using very basic techniques of deduction that are fairly familiar thanks to the countless detective stories that rely on this type of observation and logical thought. These simple thought processes have earned the nickname Holmesian, after the fictional detective who exemplified the art of analyzing strangers in this way. Towards the end of the day, I saw the same couple again. They had started building a fire on the beach. Using the clues I could see on the beach, including the birds, the lichen on the rocks, the insects, the clouds, the sun, and the moon, I worked out that the sun would set in 45 minutes. The sky would cloud over shortly after that, rain would follow soon after, and the tide would extinguish their small bonfire half an hour after sunset. If the couple had plans of a night of stargazing by the fire, then the sea and sky had other plans. They'd be forced to retire early, which in the circumstances would probably be no great tragedy. A pair of astronomers may have been disappointed by the passage of events that night, but a pair of honeymooners might well be delighted. I walked off the beach, so I cannot tell you exactly what happened on the sand that night. There are limits to our powers of deduction, but they lie far beyond the place most of us imagine. In truth, we rarely focus our powers of deduction and prediction on the natural world. But that is about to change. In my mid-20s, I had some time between jobs and an appetite for a serious walk. I met up with a friend, Sam, who felt a similar restlessness. During the second minute of our discussion, we decided that the walk from Scotland to London sounded about right. And by the third, we had settled on walking from Glasgow to London. We averaged over 25 miles a day and arrived in London 5 weeks after setting off. Having seen a good slice of Britain and no shortage of ugliness and beauty. I remember one day of that walk very fondly indeed. We were into the third week of our journey and had just begun walking up a hill in the Peak District in northern England when a pair of dark silhouettes appeared on the horizon. A few minutes later, we could see that they were serious walkers. Or perhaps it would be more accurate to say that we could see that they were walkers with serious budgets. They had pieces of kit that I could neither afford nor spell, draped all over them and hanging down towards their gleaming gaiters. Their walking poles looked like they cost more than our rucksacks and their contents combined. The two premium walkers paused opposite, looked down their noses at us in our t-shirts, shorts, and 19-pound trainers and said, "You don't want to go up there dressed like that." It was a forgivable sentiment, We did doubtless look like a pair of clueless fools. They followed up with a question and a patronizing smile. Where have you come from? Glasgow, Sam and I replied simultaneously. They fell silent, and we continued up the hill. Most of the walking books I have come across over the years get bogged down in obsessive attention to safety and equipment. I have rarely found myself enjoying these books because I do not go walking with the purpose of staying within a world of perfect safety and comfort. Personally, I would rather die walking than die of boredom reading about how to walk safely. I feel you, brother. This is a theory I have experimented with over the years, as you will see. In this book, I will take the original approach of assuming that you are capable of walking safely and with roughly the right walking socks. If you are the sort of person who likes to go ice climbing in a nightie, then you probably don't read many walking books, and I suspect it would take more than a book to mend your ways. With a handful of exceptions, my advice in the area of safety is 3 words long. Don't be daft. That said, everyone needs the right tools for certain jobs. In the appendices, you will find a series of methods for working out distances, heights, angles, and so forth. None of these involve buying anything or carrying anything, but they are nonetheless remarkably useful. Most guidebooks for walkers give the reader information about a particular location. This one does not. Instead, it lays out techniques that can be applied on any walk in almost any area, and demonstrates how these techniques can be combined to make the walk more interesting than the sum of its parts. Where it is not specified, it should be assumed that the techniques will work in the northern temperate zone, which includes the UK as well as most of Europe and the US. This is a book about outdoor clues and signs and the art of making predictions and deductions. The aim of the book is to make your walks, however long or short, eminently more fascinating. I hope you enjoy it. Tristan. So that was it for today. Join me for, let's see the name, Chapter 1, Getting Started, How Can a Smell Make a Train Appear? Dun, dun, dun. See you later, alligator, in a wild crocodile.